Hey guys, welcome back to the garage. On this episode, we're going to get into trying to finish this interior. I really want to try and get this car to a state where it's somewhat finished, being that we still have to do a shakedown. We still have to go over a few things. I've noticed a few things that have gone wrong on the car. Just a few niggly things, stuff that, I probably cheated on, going back over, refixing that sort of stuff. But today we're going to try and install this carpet. Hopefully it's going to go all right, but I can guarantee it's not. So as I mentioned on the previous episode, I picked up a little while ago now a moulded carpet to go in this car. Now, it is for an Australian Falcon. As you can see, XM, XP written on here, XL, that sort of stuff. So it's sort of moulded to this car. Now, the biggest issues that we're going to face is where I've done the rear floor pans. They're going to be a lot lower, so it's going to be interesting to see how it fits in there. I have not as yet pulled it out of this bag. And also, where we put the pedestal for the gear shifter, that's definitely not going to be in there. So hopefully we can try and make this work. I'm hoping we can make this work. So it's going to be the first time I'm going to open it up, throw it in the car. It's a bit of a shame it's not a good day today outside. It's pretty overcast over there, and I'd really like to sort of get this out in the sun and let it relax a bit. But we'll just chuck it in, see what it looks like. If we've got to get drastic with it, we might have to get the old heat gun out and try and mould it a bit better. The other thing I got was, these are actually for a US Falcon Sill panel. So, strangely enough, is that the right one? I don't think that's the right one for this side. I'm not too sure. But they actually work pretty good. So, pretty happy with that. I was a bit worried that we wouldn't be able to find anything that would fit there, but they fit perfect, and they come blank. They don't have the Ford symbol or anything written on there. So, I don't know, we might put a little decal down there or something cheeky. So, anyway, let's get this carpet out of the bag and we'll see what we're dealing with. This comes in two bits. So that's obviously the rear. Now, yeah, so it's pretty shallow. It's not too bad. That might actually work. Fingers crossed that's got enough dip in the back here for the floor pans that we put in. So as you can see there, we're going to have a major issue for where we put our pedestal for our shifter. What I'm thinking is I might go, I might put the back in first, just see if there's any excess to cut off in these corners that we can cheat with. But I might wrap that pedestal in some sort of carpet first, and then we'll just cut the hole out for this and just slot it down and over. I think that's going to be the best way to do it. In the meantime, we'll chuck this back one in, see what we're looking like in terms of, is it actually going to fit at all? Actually not too bad. A little bit loose, got a little bit more than we need in there, but I think over time that's going to push down. I'm actually really happy with that. Now this one's going to be the true test. How I can get it in there with stuffing it up, because I always do, and get that hole cut in the right spot. I don't know, I've never been really good at this. I mean, really I should be trying to take that shifter off, but that is an absolute pain to do. I think we'll sort of get it in on one side and then try and roll it over is probably the best thing to do. Let's try this side first because we don't have the pedals in the way. Righto. Somewhere there. Fingers crossed that's somewhere where we need to be. Now, as you can see, I was smart enough to ask for the heel pad on the left hand side. If I just left it up to them, they would have put it on that side, being an Australian, designed for an Australian car, but it's actually pretty good. Now, I'll have to cut that bit more to try and get that to sit down right, but that's somewhere where we need it. So, yet again, it's a bit tall in the tunnel. It's a little bit different in the tunnel, but I'll live with that. I reckon that's worked out pretty good. Better than I expected, to be honest. I was expecting this to be an absolute nightmare to get pushed into here, but that's the only part that concerns me. But being that we've got a little bit more than we need, honestly, I think we could probably just cut enough for the shifter, leave it the way it is, and just screw down that shift boot on that. I reckon that'd be good. I sort of thought it would be a lot tighter around it, would have to carpet the pedestal, but I think we're pretty good on that. I try not to take too much off just yet. Try and get it where we need it to be. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of curve in that, but that'll be alright. I reckon that'll be good. I am really happy with that. Try and hide as much as we can, but I'm not going to be able to hide all of it, unfortunately. It does look like it needs to go around a bit. Good thing, pretty close. Now, as you can see, that's what we're going to be looking at. A little bit disappointed that it doesn't actually go higher than that. A lot of carpet companies will make them pretty tall and you actually got to cut them back. So we might just cheat on that. I do have that stuff we put on the roof. We've got a fair amount of that. So maybe we go with that rather than I was thinking of just spray painting it, but I think the texture is going to look a little bit too leery. So, yeah, I think I might get some more of that stuff we put on the roof and we'll just line that across there to try and hide a lot of that. I am making kick panels for it, so I'm not worried about the sides there, but it's just that portion across there. So we'll get that stuff down from up there and start cutting it up and put a strip in there. Well, I think that's as good as we're going to get fit-wise. It'll end up sitting a little bit better once it gets a bit of heat in this floor pan and a few summer days, but I think we're just going to go for it and make the holes for the seat and the seat belts. So, great man once taught me this trick. This is just a bit of rod. You can get like a chisel point or something like that to do this job, but to make a nice neat hole for where you got to put the bolts through, yeah, you just heat this up and then get it straight into the carpet.
One eternity later.
So you want to sort of know where you're going to go, obviously. Somewhere in there. Perfect. And as you can see there, it puts a perfect hole in the floor. So just repeat that over and over. But to be honest, I'm going to get a few bolts and just drop the bolts through so the carpet doesn't move at any point, so we can get those holes in the right spot. But that's how you get a nice hole. Just sort of wiggle it around, sort of seals up the carpet. And there's your hole for, well, that's one of the seat mounts. So repeat that, going over it. This one's going to be a little bit tricky because we're both pieces of carpet at the same time. One of the holes on either side is up in here, so it's gonna have to be a little bit careful. But yeah, I like to just get a nut and bolt, or just a bolt, just drop it in just to keep it located on that hole. The hardest thing a lot of the time is actually trying to figure out exactly where that hole is. Not too bad. I want to try and make sure that that's exactly where we want it, because I do not want to make any mistakes on this. So where did we go? About there. Not the easiest thing to line up, especially through both bits, but we'll put that right there so we know it's there. Reheat this. Just as I'm thinking that, I wonder if we're better off doing the inside one first, trying to get that down. I think so. We're right there. Let's see if that's hot enough just to go through. Oh, look at that. Straight in. Perfect. Let's get a bit more of a hole going on that. Perfect. Fingers crossed. Not bad. Now that one's going to be interesting because I can't see it at all. See if I can feel it underneath. Back here, right there. Righto. Fingers crossed it's the right spot. Again. Yeah. close. Where are we? I knew there was going to be one. What have I done? Where are you? Well, I knew I was going to stuff up one, but it's not too bad. Hopefully it's not too bad. I hope the footprint of the seat actually covers that. So I've actually, I think it is this one. Yeah, it is. This one has to have a washer on it anyway, because I put a little bit of a spacer because of the difference on this step up here to there. So I've got a spacer, but it's probably too much weight on just a little spacer, so I want to put a bit of a footprint on it. So we stuffed one up, but we'll see if we can cover that up with a washer. That's the seatbelt one. Alright, we'll continue on with this and I'll get you back once we've got the seats bolted in. Righto, starting to look like a car. Got the front seats in. I'm going to slide this back seat in now and try and figure out what we're going to do with this excess here. I don't think you're going to see any of that essentially in that corner. The seat's really tight against the side of the car there, so I might just end up snipping that whole thing off, get rid of the whole lot, because I don't think it really needs it. So we'll slot that bottom in and bottom portion of the seat and just see where we end up with that carpet. Yeah, I don't think we're going to need any of that because it's right up against it. But we'll see how far it comes out as to if I just take off that back port. I think it's just those extra bits that are just like sewn on here. So if we can get away with just that, that'll be good. I'll just leave those seat belts where they are. Let's see where it ends up. Oh yeah, no. Probably just leave it on. It's not really going to matter. I'm not going to see any of it anyway. I thought it might have stuck up the side or something like that. So we'll just leave that and don't even bother cutting it off. It's good. Now I know a lot of people are probably going, why brown seat belts? Now it's really unfortunate, but these seat belts weren't cheap and I cannot return them. What I was planning on doing was having the gold sort of stay as part of the car itself, but obviously going away from that, you know, can't really paint them or dye them or do anything with them. So I'm just going to live with them for a while, and then once I get sick and tired of them, I'll have to forego the expense and we'll get some black ones. I should have just gone with black to begin with, so that's my problem. But that's why they're gold brown, unfortunately. Righto, that's starting to look pretty good. Fitted better than what I thought, to be honest. I thought there'd be a lot of bulges and bumps in it, so it hasn't worked out too bad. So, other than the brown seat belts, which is just a problem we're just going to have to live with for the time being. But I'm going to get into putting these sill panels on here now. Try and cut a bit of this excess off so it's not pushing up on the sill panel, and get them screwed down so it keeps all that edge nice and tight, and try and figure out how to start fabricating kick panels to go in there. Oh, and also we've got to get that shifter boot on. Righto, seats all in. I'll get onto these sill panels here, try and get these fitted in the car. And hopefully, they're pretty thin. They're not made of much, but I'm hoping they're not going to bend and carry on too much trying to get this carpet flat. But I think in essence we've got a return lip, so I think what we want to try and do is get all the carpet cut away so nothing is folded over the top, so it doesn't lift that sill panel up and interfere with the door closing on it. So I'm going to just go ahead and just go level with the edge of this pinch weld here. Try not to cut too much off because we're only dealing with a small lip here, so we haven't got much room for error there. So I'll just have to wing it and see how we go. But you know, I'm going to go with that method. I think we'll just cut it level with the top of that. And I'm actually pretty surprised at how this carpet actually fitted into the car. I really was expecting a lot more bumps and lumps and parts that didn't fit too well, but quite surprisingly it's actually fitted in pretty good, so I'm quite happy with that. It doesn't look too out of place. Not that you'd actually really notice anyway. It's not like too many people have a really good look at how the carpet fits in a car, but doesn't fit perfect, as you can see. Yeah. Just wondering if I've overshot. Oh no, that actually will work out fine. Got a feeling it's going to work out good. Righto, let's get into the shift boot. As you can see, we've got a bit of excess in here, which sort of has worked to our advantage because now I don't have to sort of trim up that pedestal essentially that we made, but as soon as we screw that down, we're going to push all that around. So I sort of want to get it away from the driver's side a little bit because I don't want my foot constantly sort of rubbing on it. So we'll try and get that most of that excess over a little bit and get rid of a lot of this carpet that's around this shifter itself. I don't want to take too much off because we want it to be underneath the footprint of the shifter boot, so it keeps it still. Just enough that the shifter itself can freely move without actually touching carpet would be good. Righto. That'll work out just right, I think. I don't know whether this is designed to go under the carpet in this edge. Then they put something like a sewn edge like that around it, but we're just going to go with on top. I just hope those edges aren't a big deal, but Oh well, if it rips, it rips. I don't think it will. It's loose enough that it will just keep falling down like that, but it would have been nicer to have it where it sat a little bit further forward, but that's probably where we've cut the hole, unfortunately, in the floor. So I've tried to get it on exactly where that pedestal is. So we'll just have to live with that, but I think it looks all right. I just hope it doesn't rip or anything like that. Right, getting this position right, it's going to be a little bit on the crucial side with all this flop that we've got in there. I don't want it looking like it's on an angle or anything like that. I want to try and get it as square as possible. At the moment I screw that down, it's pulling on the carpet, so I think we're going to have to go somewhere there. I think that's going to be the sweet spot. Looks like it will stay in position, but my experience says that a lot of the time this will not. I'm also wondering, it will. I don't think I'm going to be getting full throttle out of that because the other carpet's in the way. I'm going to have to double check on that too. Right, let's get this screwed down there and go from there, see what we're dealing with. That's not too bad, it's pretty good. Not bad, but we definitely will not be getting full throttle out of that, so I'll have to get into checking that. As you can see, I've already put the hole in for the dipper switch here. So after thinking about it, I think we're going to have to do kick panels. It's just going to look too crappy unless we put some sort of piece of trim across there to hold that edge of that carpet back, or sort of glue it there. I suppose we could glue it there, but I don't know. I think I'm going to cheat. I think I'm going to glue it there. Well, I think that turned out all right. I'm pretty happy with that. As I said, I'm pretty surprised that the carpet actually fitted that well in there. You know, it's actually pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I really didn't expect it to be as good, being Falcon. Well, guys, I think that's it. Interior's all done. We did go with the cheat route and put some of that foam in the quarter panels there. Kick panels, sorry. I might revisit it down the track. I want to get this thing on the road. I want to be able to put some Ks on it, and you know, sort of find out all the little niggly problems that we're going to have issues with, like loose bolts, things like that. There's always going to be something that I've forgotten. Yeah, other than that, there's not really much else that we need to get into. Put the steering wheel back on. We've got everything that I think we need for going for a roadworthy, essentially. I think everything's done. Everything works. All the lights work. All the gauges work. We've got brand new brakes, so there's no issue there. Yeah, we've got to dig into that handbrake, make sure that works properly. But that's it. I'm thinking the next stage is actually trying to go down and get a roadworthy on this, or get at least, you know, try and get them to pass it straight away. We'll see what they say, but I'm sure they'll find something that they want to get changed in the car. But yeah, I think that's it. I think we're at the end, guys. I think we're at the finish line. So hopefully the next video is on the road. I'm hoping that's the way to go. I still might get the dyno done. We might wait until it's registered. I'm pretty happy with the way it's running. It hasn't got any flat spots or anything in it like that. It's running pretty good. No black smoke. I know it's pretty safe on that fuel, so we're not going to do anything hard. We've still got to run that clutch in, which, you know, in the last episode you saw there was a bit of a hot spot. I think what that was me trying to get it onto the trailer one day. I had a bit of an issue where it just wouldn't run, so I sort of gave it a bit too much RPM and sort of slipped the clutch a bit. So I think that's where that issue arose from. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.